Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside the Cage, where we bring you the latest and exciting updates of UFC. First, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Tyson highlights Francis Ngannou's pre-Fury big mistake. You see, Francis Ngannou is gearing up to step into the boxing ring with none other than the heavyweight boxing champ, Tyson Fury. And man, it is just about to happen on October 28th, because that's when these titans are set to clash in Saudi Arabia. But wait. There's more. Ngannou's got a secret weapon up his sleeve called Mike Tyson. Recently, Mike Tyson spilled the beans and admitted something pretty interesting. He mentioned that Ngannou wasn't exactly putting in the sweat and tears needed for his upcoming fight against Tyson Fury. It's like a coach giving some honest feedback, shedding light on the preparation process. He's had many professional fights, but he's never experienced a professional boxing match. But by working with him yesterday, he has the aptitude, and I see a good future in this life. It's not going to be as one-sided as people think it is. I was speaking with Francis once he came in, and I asked him, "Are you sore today?" And he said, "No." That was a big mistake. But we're going to work, and we're going to exert everything he has for this particular match. I believe that it's going to be a tougher fight than anyone thinks. Tyson was appointed to Ngannou's team last week and said, "I'm taking every single thing seriously. This for me is the biggest fight of my career. As every fight should be, this one is the most important. I respect him as I respect every single one of my opponents, which I should. Being intimidated by him? No, I am not intimidated by him, and I am not intimidated by anybody." So, as the anticipation builds and the clock ticks closer to that match, we've got Tyson's voice ringing in our ears. Now, let's see what unfolds in the ring, and whether Tyson's guidance makes all the difference for Ngannou. It's like a real-life drama with punches, passion, and a plot that's thicker than any heavyweight belt. $1.6 billion UFC antitrust case advances to class action. There is some legal drama shaking up the world of mixed martial arts. Back in the days of 2014, a bunch of UFC fighters like Kung Lei, etc. stepped into the legal ring with a lawsuit against the UFC and its big parent, Zuffa LLC. Why? Well, they're throwing down some heavy allegations claiming the UFC went all shady with their tactics to dominate the MMA scene. Yep, it's like a David versus Goliath showdown. Now, this lawsuit was like the opening bell for a fight that's been years in the making, and guess what? The ranks of these fighters swelled to about 1,200, and they're coming together like a united force. However, they've officially become a class of fighters who duked it out in UFC-promoted bouts in the U.S. from December 16th, 2010 to June 30th, 2017. Here is the question. What's the jackpot they're aiming for? Well, it's a mind-boggling $800 million to $1.6 billion. Now, the main point is that the U.S. antitrust laws have this effective trick up their sleeve. Now, let's talk about impact. This class action suit is like a heavyweight match with the power to reshape the MMA landscape. Usually, if the fighters come out on top, it's not just a win for them, but for all of us fight enthusiasts. But, my fight friend, it's also a massive curveball for the UFC. They've been taking some heat for their pay scale, and this lawsuit could be the knockout punch that forces them to rethink their game. So guys, keep your gloves up because this match is far from over. Buffer mentions McGregor's tap to Khabib in front of him. Recently, Bruce Buffer just pulled a daring move that had Conor McGregor on the edge of his cold plunge tub. Yep, it is true. In a recent episode of The Ultimate Fighter 31, McGregor and Michael Chandler jumped into a coach's challenge that promised some MMA brain-bending fun. But guess what? Bruce Buffer had a little twist there. Eventually, he decided to pop the question about McGregor's legendary clash with Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now, remember that time back in October 2018? Yeah, the one where McGregor faced off against Khabib at UFC 229. Buffer threw the question out there, daring Chandler to name the round when McGregor tapped to Khabib. It's like he put his announcing legacy on the line, right in front of the notorious Irishman himself, whereas McGregor couldn't help but laugh quietly with the thought, get out of here. Now, Chandler, he knew the drill. He didn't hesitate and nailed the answer. Khabib took McGregor down in the fourth round. Surprisingly, UFC 229 showdown is etched in the memory of fight fans everywhere. McGregor added, "Whoa, what's the story there?" when Chandler answered the question correctly. Certainly it looks like the notorious one just added a few more zeros to his bank account, and all it took was a good laugh and a little friendly competition. Now let's talk numbers because that's where things get interesting. McGregor didn't just walk away with a victory and a grin, simply he pocketed a cool $10,000 for his efforts. But wait, there's more. Dana White didn't just stop there. He had a little something for every fighter on McGregor's team. He handed out a solid $1,500 to each one of them. It is clear that it is a bonus for being part of Team McGregor, right? Guys, we'd love your support if you're enjoying the video. Just hit that subscribe button to motivate us to bring you more exciting content. Adesanya's coach raises doubts about Plessis' title opportunity. Well, it seems that there's a twist in the tale, and Eugene Bareman's got a say in it. So, here's the deal. Dricus du Plessis, that name that's been on everyone's lips after that epic TKO of Robert Whittaker at UFC 290. Yep, he's the one who's been waving that no-one contender flag, and man, he did earn it. But hold on a second, because Bareman's stepping into the ring with some thoughts. He's like the coach who's got a game plan. If we talk about UFC 293, du Plessis couldn't swing a quick turnaround. Now guess who's stepping through that door? Sean Strickland. Well, he's dropping some wisdom. He's hinting that du Plessis might have missed his ticket to the title shot. It's like a strategic game move, right? It is what it is, Bareman told Submission Radio. He didn't want to push through his injury. It doesn't matter to me. That's something to do with him and his team, and he has to go back and fight someone else. However, the head coach of City Kickboxing mentions the importance of timing in the sport. But you don't know what this machine does. You don't know the UFC. You don't know what they do. You don't know how they twist and turn things. Never feel comfortable with where you are. If there's something in front of you that you've been working for your whole life, don't think for a minute that it can't just be taken away just like that. And he had it, and he let it slip. So they can't be sitting comfortably thinking that they've got the next shot after Strickland, because they don't. Because I know this sport. The fact is, they don't. But they did. They never took it. And now they should not be sitting comfortably thinking they've got the next shot, because in this sport, it's just not true. Moreover, UFC 293 is going to take place on September 9th at Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney. As the drama unfolds and the fighters lace up their gloves, one thing's for sure, this fighting game always got a surprise waiting in the wings. Cormier expresses reservations about Jake Paul's MMA transition after Diaz fight. In the last, Jake Paul and Nate Diaz stepped into the boxing ring and the buzz was just electric. And then, Paul takes the win, and he's celebrating that victory. But hold on a sec, because here comes Daniel Cormier. He's more than just skeptical. As usual, he's downright certain that this MMA rematch is just wishful thinking. Nate will submit him, Cormier said on his YouTube channel. If they fight, Nate will submit him. I'll take less confidence in Jake Paul fighting Nate in MMA because of last weekend. Jake's best chance of dominating Nate Diaz was in boxing, and he didn't. While he did win the fight convincingly, he didn't put him out like many people thought he would. And that's different. Cormier admits Paul surpassed his expectations, and although he sees room for improvement, he credits him for pushing through even when he's tired. Jake Paul, for me, did a good job, but still shows that there's a lot of work to be done, Cormier said. What I will say about Jake Paul, he's better than people try to give him credit for, and he's a lot tougher than people try to give him credit for, because one of the areas I thought he would struggle was when it got hard, he would kind of fold up and go back to making videos or doing something different. But he doesn't pack it in, he fights through the tough times. So my fight fans out there, here we are, catching up with Cormier, throwing in his 2 cents. Let's see how these thoughts bring surprises to the table for a whole speculation. All right, guys, that's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. See you at the next one. Until then, goodbye.